Aloha, I'm Dr. Diane Paloma, CEO of the King Lunalilo Trust and Lunalilo Home. Ho'omai ka'i'a oi to the Domestic Violence Action Center for 30 years of advocacy, policy, and fighting for our youth, our women, our underrepresented, and all of those who are not able to advocate for themselves. I think joining the Council of Allies for this auspicious year was such a personal thing for me. I've worked in healthcare, so I've seen the physical effects of abuse. I've worked with healthcare providers who have learned on how to be advocates for domestic violence victims. And really, where I work now at Lunalilo Home, I've been introduced to a whole world of elder abuse. And not so much in the terms of physical abuse, the way we think of immediately of violence, but through other means of verbal abuse, financial abuse, and really having our kupuna be a marginalized group of individuals in the community. And so even more so, I think that the advocacy needs to be elevated. And on a more personal note, I've been talking to my daughters about college, and the one thing that came up about schools is this school along a route or a line of sex trafficking? And having that conversation with my daughter just the other week was mind-blowing, right? And I'm already having these emotions of letting go of your child to go away to school in a place where they're growing in their independence, and then just to have another layer of something like sex trafficking or rape in the dorms or things that we unfortunately have to bring up with our children today is so illuminating to our society today. So for all those reasons, I really feel that being a part of this Council of Allies helps amplify that voice and helps really create those communication channels for our community so that we can address this head on and eliminate it down the road. I've worked in healthcare, and we try to work ourselves out of a job in healthcare, right? If everybody were happy, we wouldn't have to have hospitals. And so in the same breath, this public health view of domestic violence is the same. We are trying to work our way out of a job so that we don't need domestic violence advocates, so that we don't need huge sex abuse treatment centers everywhere, advocates in all areas of courts or our healthcare system. So for all those reasons, I think it's just important to have a voice, and if I can, use that voice for a better future for my daughters, my granddaughters, and of course the generations to come. To me, domestic violence is important to the entire community because it affects the entire community. It is not one particular population. I've learned this over the years. It's not one profession, it's not one industry, it is everybody. And from the top down, from executives to, I've had incidents with my employees, I've had incidents with family members, and really it doesn't choose you. It's like healthcare or diseases, you're not necessarily predisposed to it. It happens everywhere. And so because it happens everywhere, it is an everywhere issue for me, for our community, and that's why I think it's so important to be able to look at that in a new lens and be able to tackle that in new and innovative ways. A couple things I think the community could do to advocate, right? Of course, elevate the conversation, and as difficult as it was to have a sex trafficking conversation with my daughter, you gotta do it, and taking that step, making it comfortable for her to be able to understand it, recognize it, so that she doesn't end up becoming a victim, is important. So I think talking within your own spaces, with the people that you're comfortable with, is the greatest start that you could do for your community. And I also think my role as a CEO, I truly believe that people, I think, listen to me and what I say, and I also need to be an example to the community. And so how can I create those communication lines, and how can I be able to engage with people in ways that maybe others couldn't? And so that kuleana, that responsibility is mine for me to share and for me to expound on with the rest of the community.